Hey guys, what's up?
What's up?
How you doing? For those of you who don't know, this is
Maria.
Maria. So yes, Maria happens to be my wife.
Wife.
For those of you who don't know,
Legally.
it's official. So guys, we were thinking of which are some different ways that we could be sharing what we feel like God is doing in our lives in different ways that can actually be more fun for you. I don't know how many of you guys have been actually following my newsletters. I personally am not a person who loves to read a lot, even though Maria here, she loves to write and read. So maybe what we should start with is tell us 3 things about yourself that people should know.
I'm almost 21 years old. I'm a psychology student. And also, like you said, I love books and I'm a writer, I'd say. Yeah.
First thing we're going to talk about is our wedding! So yeah, this was a crazy experience for us. We were not prepared for it.
No.
Have you gotten married before?
No.
Neither have I. So yeah, this was an amazing experience. At the same time, lots of work. It took a lot of work to prep a wedding.
Yeah.
It took us 2.5 months. Almost every day we had to check off things from the list. But it was an amazing experience and we learned so much about God, about ourselves, about our relationship, and we are very thankful for that. So we would love to share one of the amazing stories of how God showed us that He is a part of our marriage, that He is for our marriage. And that is because God is for marriage more than we could ever be or than anybody else can be on this earth. We want to share a story about Nicole, our photographer.
Nicole, if you're watching this, thank you again for everything you do.
Nicole was a Facebook friend that I had that we had never met in person and we actually had never spoken online ever. And what happened was that one day I got this message from her and the message wrote, "Hey Timos, I feel so weird that I'm writing you. I don't even know where I know you from, but I saw that you guys got engaged and I really felt that I should let you know that I'm a wedding photographer and I would love to come and shoot your wedding on travel costs alone." And this was crazy because the thing is that in this wedding we really didn't have a lot of money to do everything that we have wanted to do. A photographer here in Greece was something that we could never possibly afford because it's a lot of money. It's not just a lot of money, the style of the shoot, it's old-fashioned. It's really bad. We don't like it. Nicole was exactly what we wanted for our wedding photos, and we were able to have her shoot our wedding. In a wedding that we had no money, we were able to have a photographer who traveled all the way from Canada to Greece to shoot our wedding. So we are very thankful for that. We would love to share with you guys some of the moments from the wedding. Check them out.
In the morning when I wake and the sun is coming through, oh, you fill my lungs with sweetness and you fill my head with you. Shall I write it in a letter? Shall I try to get it down? Oh, you fill my head with pieces of a song I can't get out.
Let's move on. Last month we visited Athens for an event called Lighthouse, which was basically originated from the International House of Prayer in Kansas City. and it is kind of like a movement in Athens that wants to promote and establish a house of prayer in Athens where worship and prayer take place all day long, like 24/7. So we joined this new house of prayer in order to encourage and motivate other young people to do the same and be an example of young people trying to be active and have a living faith in Greece.
We went there for 4 or 5 days, and it was actually the first time that we got the chance to lead worship together.
My story with music and my love for music goes back to when I was 16. I was about to take my final exams in order to finally get my degree in music, my last degree in music, which is very hard for those who live in Greece and know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I had to go in and take my piano exam. And I remember before I walked through the doors to get into the room, I got a phone call from my father telling me that my mother was in the hospital and she wasn't feeling good. And at that time, my mother was suffering from cancer, and these were her final days, and I knew what was gonna happen. So this information, this phone call, meant a lot to me and really got me down. And as I was walking through the doors, I was shaking. I sat down on the piano and just couldn't play a single note. And that was so traumatizing for me. Since that day, I never touched a keyboard or a piano again. And when I met Timos, I told him that I used to play the piano, and he was like, "Oh, this is so amazing." And I was like, not really. And I told him the story of what I went through. And I was very negative to start playing again. I didn't really want to go through the trauma. And the only reason I wanted to play again was to glorify God, was to worship God. And this feeling came up once Aaron Hoover from YWAM Athens told us about the house of prayer in Athens, the lighthouse. That was the only thing that woke up my desire to play piano again, to do this for God. And I'm very thankful for that. So the last day of us leading worship, I was feeling so insecure about my ability to play and my ability to sing, since I haven't done that for like 5 years. And I was very rusty. I am still very rusty, and I was feeling very insecure about that. So the previous night I was praying and I was feeling very low. My self-esteem was very, very low. But I told to myself, you have to trust God. This is what He wants you to do for Him. So I went the next day to the lighthouse and we started leading worship, and I was still feeling very insecure. But the moment I started worshiping God, with a little I had to offer Him, I started hearing notes like what I should play. I started hearing how I should worship Him, and it was crazy for me. I started hearing actual notes and no one else could hear. And I was looking at Timos. I thought I was confused, maybe it was his guitar or something, but it was just us. I was listening to this piano playing in my ears, and I started following the melody, and everything worked out. So praise God for that. And I feel very humbled that he helped me go through this in such a miraculous way.
A few things about where we are and what it is that we're doing right now. Maria is still studying in her university. She's right now on her 3rd out of the 4 years. And I am still working with YWAM in Thessaloniki. I am part of a pioneering team of 6 people who are from Greece, Germany, New Zealand, America, half Swiss, half Greek, and Jamaica. How cool is that? What we do is we're trying to re-pioneer YWAM here in Thessaloniki, and God is doing some amazing things.
As for the next step in our marriage in the next few months, we were thinking to do a discipleship training school with Youth with a Mission. The reason we've been thinking and discussing about doing a DTS is that I think it would be very beneficial for me as a psychology student. The main reason I want to do a DTS is not to become a missionary. For now, it's not in my plans. The main reason I want to do a DTS is for my personal relationship with God and later on my career as a psychologist.
We decided that the next step that we had to take after the wedding was to do a DTS together. This is something that will help Maria find who she is, her identity in God, but it will also be a time where both of us can focus 100% on God for 6 months together as a couple. I have already had that experience, but we have not had it as a couple. And I think there is a beauty in having similar experiences with your spouse. And we want to be doing this together. Please be praying for us, because this is a season of seeking God and waiting for His answer. We know in our hearts that He has the answer. We know that He already knows where He wants us to go, but we still don't know where that is. So please be praying for us that we will have a clear answer and His will be very clear for our lives. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video and hear a little bit about our story.
If you want to know more about us, or if you have any kind of questions that you would like to ask us, feel free to DM us or message us on Facebook, or like post a comment, whatever you want. Here and open to any questions.
Let us know about what you would like to hear. There's so many things that are on our heart, but we just don't want to be sharing all this stuff that might not interest you guys. So let us know what you would like to hear about us. Peace. God bless you guys. Bye.
Bye.